Hello, and welcome back to the channel. First and foremost, I'd like to thank all of my subscribers and viewers. I didn't even realize how much subscribers I have now. Truly, thank you. I'm mostly doing this more for my own entertainment and sanity, uh, but also I want to share what little knowledge that I have and share discoveries that works and don't work. I'm really still a novice with this hobby and a lot of other things. So commenting down below helps. Please give me some constructive criticism and help me broaden my knowledge. The channel might be concentrated on RC monster trucks, but I do comment on other channels like automotive know-how, video games, 3D printing, and everything else in between. I like modifying things, so please don't be surprised if I showcase other things like how to convert a car's rear drum brake to disc or something. I don't know. We'll see. But for now, thank you all, and I hope you continue to support and follow the channel. Anyway, so I'm trying to push forward with my Tamiya Juggernaut project, and in my previous video I had issues with properly fitting the aluminum parts that sandwiches the leaf spring to the axle. I ended up filing filing them to make them fit better. There's still a little bit of play, but they sit much better now than before. I'm currently undecided if I want to blacken them because um, the video that I watched for this um, uh, product caused some damage to the surface of the metal. I read from the product's website that it can be diluted with water for a more controlled blackening. So I do have that option still. I might try them on the axle guards first and see how they turn out. I purchased a new shocks for this truck. This is the Cloudbuster, but these shocks were supposed to be for the Juggernaut. So I bought them from eBay, which didn't have the description of how big the cylinders are. So I purposely got them longer, the longer ones. I was going to take the springs out and put spacer under the piston to shorten the length. I was doing that because I wanted them to be more sturdy and reduce the axle from swaying side to side. The suspension links aren't triangled like the TXTs, so the axles for the Juggernaut aren't as steady. So doing this, I was hoping that the axles would be more stable. The stock shocks, let me bring it in here real quick. The stock shocks have too much play. Um, you see, there's too much wiggle, and that's with already with the tension on there, so it'd have even more play when the springs are removed. I'm trying to soften the suspension a little. That's why I'm trying to eliminate the coils in the shocks. But like I said, just a comparison. You see how big these bodies are compared to the stock uh, shocks. So I'll probably buy another set that are smaller. I might even buy the correct length and not bother with putting the sandwich or spacer underneath the shock to shorten, because this one's already pretty stable and it doesn't really, well, there's a little bit of wiggle, but compared to the stock ones, it's just really horrible compared to that. That's why I was gonna put a spacer underneath. That's gonna be like more support. So imagine like if, so I'm gonna show you, like if this was this short, if you have that spacer underneath the piston, see how much more stable that is. That was the idea behind it. Well, I mean, to not waste these shocks, yeah, as you can see, I thought about installing them in one of my Cloudbuster projects. Um, that's why I ended up in between two projects. Actually, multiple projects, because I can't really finish this Cloudbuster until I get the micro lathe that I'm uh, working on the way I want. Uh, I need to make the new spindle for the bigger chuck that I purchased for it to be able to pass through thicker materials. Currently, I can only pass through um, something that's 8 millimeters in diameter. I want something bigger, at least a 13. You guys will see that in my future videos, I hope. So, I didn't want to use this chassis initially for this truck because I wanted this rig to look stock. But I figured the body that I'm using is not even the stock hard body. Yeah, it's all beat up now. It's the wrong color too, so I thought, what the hey. And I've been having bad lucks with the plastic tubs. And this is like the latest one that I bought, and already I've always cracked this whenever I try to tighten these ball nuts, ball ends. So what I was gonna do with it was I was gonna reinforce it with one of these aluminum blocks. And how it has holes on the side, so that's threaded. Um, these holes are threaded. I'm using J concepts behind the axle steering for this rig, so the stock location for the steering servo won't be used. And this thing fits in here perfectly. So I mean, obviously this is upside down because I have all of these screwed in. It would go something like this in there. See if I can get it in. All right. So it would be like this inside. So the aluminum would just brace all the um, screw points for the lower control arms, and yeah, I had to buy these longer ball end screws to be able to uh, basically for it to be able to reach the threads. They're longer than stock. So because of these standoffs right here, I needed something longer to thread in to those holes. But unfortunately, when I initially drilled those holes, they were kind of shallow. And when I re-drilled them, I messed up the threads. So um, either I make a new one or try to plug the holes and rethread them. I don't know. It's probably better to make new ones if I'm gonna go this route. But probably not. I probably won't. I don't know. I might not go with this route if I end up using this chassis permanently. All right, let me take all of this stuff out of the way. So I thought that was a neat idea. This is kind of heavy, so it would put more weight to the bottom of the chassis. Yeah, basically lowers the center of gravity. Yeah, I try to fill those holes up because they weren't going to be used. I taped the inside, and I poured the when I was doing that ABS slurry, I was filling that up, letting it sit, and then I don't know, like I don't know if I'm gonna go this route. Back to the Juggernaut. Um, I did end up putting 80,000 CSD silicone differential fluid in this one. So I had the 80K right there. This is the 60K. So I put 80K in here. The front one has the 60K. Initially, I was going to use this for the front because this was the rear diff when I had problem. No, I had problem with the truck. Um, if you guys saw that video, I could only go in reverse. The truck wouldn't go forward because I had stripped the gears, I think the differential gears. So I thought if I'd switch the differentials around, I'd be able, since I want to go forward more than reverse. So I I was gonna put the rear diff on the front and then the front diff into the rear. But I end up putting the heavier fluid into the diff that was for the one that was previously for the front. So I had to switch them back because I wanted the heavier fluid for the rear. So all I had to do really was switch the topper. This one doesn't have the two posts like this one does. So I switched them around. So now this is for the rear and this is for the front. The reason I had to that this one had to be for the rear because of the rear battery. The battery tray is in the rear and it's lowered than stock. And having these posts, if the truck is completely compressed, the suspension is completely compressed, the bottom of the battery tray would hit these two posts. With this, and then it kind of gives me an idea which differentials for which. So yeah, I've been putting these together little by little on the weekdays. They're coming along slowly, but at least I'm making some progress. I can't find a tube of Lucas grease, my tube of Lucas grease. So I guess I'd have to spend money on that. I'm trying to be cheap as possible. Um, Comparing the two, 60K and 80K, I do feel a little bit more resistance with the 80K compared to the compared to the 60K. Yeah, this is 60K. But you guys look, this the there's some limited slip action going on there. And then show you guys this other one. Oops. So I feel like this one stops a lot sooner than the other one. So yeah, so I guess I'm waiting for parts right now. The shocks and lube, I guess. But hopefully on the next video, I have the Juggernaut assembled to where she's back under her own power. Oh, I do want to replace the servos that I had because I'm going down to 2S for this truck. Yeah, I was running a 3S before, and the servos that I was using were 60 kilograms, and but that was because it was able to deliver the 60 kg because it was on 3S, which is 11.1 volts. The servos were connected directly to the batteries, and then the signal wired to the orange one or white. But now, since I'm going down to 2S, which is only 7.4 volts, I want I want another set of servos that are equal or close to what the 60Ks were putting out. So I guess I'm waiting for those. I do have um, 70 kilograms. I have one. The only thing that's disappointing is compared to my 60 kilograms that I had, the 60 kilograms that I had that I had for this truck, it was all metal. The top, bottom, etc., all metal. But then the 70 kilograms, the top and bottom are plastic. But the the gears are helical, so I guess they're quieter. That's um, and I think maybe they produce more torque. I mean, obviously 70 kilograms, and I think they're around like 65 kilograms supposedly when you're using 7.4 volts, 7 volts, 7.4 volts. So yeah, so I plan on changing to maybe 70 kilograms for this truck. Probably don't need that much. It might be a little overkill because I mean the truck's gonna have servo for each axle, a stock stock configuration. It was on running on single servo like the Cloudbuster did, and back in the day the servos when the truck first came out, servos weren't putting out that much torque. So yeah, we'll see. Um, well, I guess that's all for now. Um, Again, I hope that Yeah, you guys continue to support and follow the channel. And as always, if you like this content, please share my videos. Thank you for watching.